Yes, we are back in the building. Once more. I am Uncle Makara, all relations. Let's get started today. And today we're going to talk about a very incredible topic, one that I'm very close to because I've seen myself shift from this transformation. And I think it's very interesting to notice that the tender healer versus the warrior healer, okay? It's not really a versus. However, let's take both of these archetypes, okay? So who actually wins, okay? So this was a past version of me as the tender healer. And then we have, on the other side, the warrior healer, okay? Now, I think what's important to understand is this is a compassion from grace. Okay. One is a compassion from truth, one is value ridden. So it's compassion from justice, truth, and honor. Okay. So this one, the warrior healer, almost carries a fierce compassion, right? You see in Vajrayana Buddhism, they're these wrathful beings, but they have fangs and they're scary. However, at the same time, they're protecting the Dharma, right? They're showing their teeth and claws, the strength that they have, and they're doing it from this fierce compassion to protect the Buddha Dharma. Okay, so let's understand the difference now. One is simply just, yeah, I'm compassionate because that's our norm. We are meant to be interconnected, and they understand this baseline, right? This unity, consciousness. They're there. Absolutely, they're there. But the warrior healer carries an very powerful inner strength. They've gone through a lot of inner battles, right? So we need both, obviously, right? We need both of these archetypes. However, I think this was my transformation from back in the day. I used to be a light worker. Okay. Now, I have nothing against light workers, but let me give you a different perspective. Okay. Because work is a three-dimensional word. Okay. And we are the alchemists. This is not work to us, it's a calling. You're a chosen one in this craft. Okay. So that means that you are not only a light master, but you're also a shadow dancer. Shadow, shadow dancer. I'm a light master. Okay. Both of them. Because you're ferocious in terms of your healing capacity. I'm so down for my cause that I'm down to get deeper into the lower realms, into the shadows, to pull out the gunk that is not needed anymore. Right? So we can move forward in a healthy, flowing, fluid manner. Okay. And you're going to notice we're going through a breakthrough right now, breakthrough portal. So you're going to be broken down to be broken through. Okay. So right now things might feel like, oh, they're collapsing, right? Everything's changing. This kind of dynamic. Right now, I want you guys to double down on understanding why you chose this path or why the path chose you is a better question to ask yourself. Why do you think this path chose you? Okay. This spiritual path that you're on, the synchronicities that you've received, the decisions that you had to make, the crucial conversations you've had to have. Okay. All of it. All of it. Okay. So what's unique? What's special about that? How do I know which one I am? I think I'm a warrior healer. Yeah. I'm explaining that exactly. New Earthology. Hey, Boricua. Hola. What's up? What's up? Thank you guys for tuning in. Any questions, just let me know, okay? Any questions, just type them in the chat and I'll get back to them. All right, so this one is purely love and light. This one is light and shadow integrated. Okay. Quite easy if we kind of just look at it logically like this, right? And not confuse ourselves. You do need tenderness when it comes down to healing, but that's not the only layer. I feel like this is levels of a video game, right? And you start out just being a light worker, and then you face the shadows. The subconscious gunk comes up, okay, some way, somehow. Some trauma, some weird memories as a child, some, constricted feeling, and this bubbles up to the surface as an adult, right? And then we start to really tap into this, okay? Hey, Claudia. And it's such a powerful understanding when we can come from this new angle of looking at the world that we are these warrior healers, right? We're not just there to be tender, like, you remember that time that Osha was saying, like, I am not Mother Teresa, right? He's owning his character. He's like, I am a rebellious one. I'm a notorious one, right? He's giving himself that archetype. He's doubling down on the narrative. Are you there to take over the world, Osho? I'm there to take over the universe. Okay. He expands it. He doesn't stay stuck and rigid to the constructs that you give him. You see what I'm saying? So that's a shadow, like that's a shadow dancer and a light master, in my opinion, right? Someone who can hold both polarities and be very neutral, very integrated, but also slightly above neutral as well, like a little bit light positive frequency, right? That's also there. And so that's like the warrior healer who's been through a bunch of bullshit basically in life and has been able to integrate it properly into their healing style. So this is kind of like the wounded healer becomes the warrior healer in a sense, okay? Whereas there are a lot of people who maybe just want to stay in the surface, kind of not like stay in the surface level, yeah, I would say, or just bypass everything that's negative, in their life. Just kind of just push it away, push it away, push away all the negative, only good vibes only, right? That's the tender healer. And so one is better or more complete than the other. Hmm. I don't think I'd compare it in that way, man. Um, I don't think they're better or more complete. They might be just different perspectives of looking at healing, you know? So one could be coming from the heart, and the warrior healer, it's coming from the root to the heart and then out. You guys get that? One is purely up here in its essence, in the heart space. Another one is grounded. It's chimed into what they're doing, right? They're very connected, okay? And I think that a lot of tender healers can feel, and I'm not saying they are, okay? But they can feel like they're very disconnected from everything. They're in their positive love and light bubble, but they're not getting the results that the spiritual world has an abundance of, right? Multiple gifts, siddhis, level ups, tune-ups, attunements, initiations. You can go through when you're healing, right? When you're going through this process. Yes, exactly. And then the tender healer needs to develop the root. This was my pathway. This was my journey, brother. So I used to be the tender healer in my past, and then I got my lower chakras work done. Okay. I started to feel into my pelvis. I realized I was a sexual being. Okay. I didn't cut off myself from that, right? Thinking I'm too high and mighty, too holy to have those conversations or to have like an abundant, uh, you know, orgasmic experience of life, not just limited to sex though, right? So it's almost the shame that we have of our lower bodies, right? And that causes impotence, that causes like premature ejaculation, that causes stress, that causes, a lot of issues with knees for because you're not supporting yourself, right? And knees are the support. It might be like, lower back problems with money issues, right? Um, it could be a variety of things, right? So I looked at all of those with like a almost like a lightning. You guys want to get the vision I had? A light torch, right? A torch that's lightning. Okay. It's just lightning coming out of it. Almost like a lightsaber, but it's just light, like pure, maybe condensed lightning in a rod like that. Imagine your spine, right, as this malleable thing, right? Tensile, like certain metals that can bend, sort of like that, right? And so once you make yourself more tensile, more loose, you're not so stuck in your ways. You get what I mean? I feel like the warrior healer needs to develop the heart, where the tender healer needs to develop the root. Mm. Hmm. And this is why we've established this archetype of the priest beast, the highly integrated man or woman, the priestess beast, a highly integrated woman, where both their lights and their shadows are integrated. They understand themselves as this, mind, body, spirit complex on Earth, as this weird Terran who took on this, humanoid shape here to like help humanity. But like, why were you pushed towards this? Right. So this was my journey, brother. I went from tender healer, warrior healer, and now I'm a priest beast. I'm right in the center. So I had to go through both extremes to find the pendulum middle again, right? The middle path. And I think that's what a lot of life does. It flings us from these polarities, right? These dualities. And it is until we become non-dual, you know, it starts to take an incredible power over. I think it does somewhat have to do with Kundalini because when you do get more life force, more Vajra through Kundalini awakening, you automatically have more energy to do the things that you want to. It's almost it brings it up into your space a little bit more. It's more utility of that unconscious energy that becomes integrated properly through the light and shadow work that you've been doing. So the healing work, the cleanup work, both combined is the best approach, and this is what we use. So if you've ever attended any of our healings or channelings or podcasts, you'll get to know a further integration of this, really. Okay. So, New Earthology, I like that username. That's cool. And I think also one of the factors is that the tender healer is too yin, the warrior healer is too yang. Okay. And so when you're integrated within your yin and yang, right? You're not 50-50. You have a more dominant polarity and a one supportive polarity, could say, right? So you could find your own range. I mean, some people just choose to be androgynous, and that's fine. That you can do that. Um, However, the more polarity you have, let's say the more polarity you gain in the masculine, you're going to get that opposite polarity, right? So more feminine, receptive woman will be drawn to that energy. Okay. Now, if you're a very soft guy, you will be attracting more tougher women. Why? Because it's just polarity game, bro. Okay. That's why. Okay. It's just like a battery, positive and negative. Okay. So you got to learn about this stuff because school doesn't teach you. Okay, so many years of your life, and then you have a trouble in a relationship as you grow older. What's going on? School didn't teach you. There were no Risonomics classes. Okay, there were no quantum physics classes when you were growing up, teaching you about not only the metaphysical, like we're looking at the metaphysical side of Riz. You guys see that and sense that, right? It's not just about charisma, it's about what's underneath God's grace that through that dynamic and the connecting to the higher self, okay, which is a composite of all of your guides you work with. Thanks, man. I'm a woman, by the way. Is it possible to be a woman and prefer a bit more of the yang polarity? Absolutely. Because it's all a game of energy, right? So, do you mean that you like having a yang polarity as a woman? Like, so you mean you're more like go, 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 make decisions, cut through the BS, move forward? Because this is I'll be honest with you, it's a very masculine world. So some women, they adapt to that, right? But the way that the framework or the structure of the workforce and so forth, primarily male dominated, right? So there's a lot of you know, I like both, but more yang. Okay. Yeah. So would you say you prefer more of a guy who's more receptive in his feminine, a little bit more? So you feel that balance, or you feel it's fine, you can get along with, someone more 50-50, or what is your perspective on that? How do you help my brother who wants to be in a relationship? Okay. Well, what's his issue then? Because that sounds like a healthy desire for a man. Yes. Okay. Okay. So that makes sense. Yeah. It's all polarity, guys, right? So it's it's very interesting because it's sometimes there's like suppressed stuff that we work on. Like for instance, I did a lot of work in my a shadow masculine, dark masculine, and yeah, a lot of gunk, a lot of shadows and resistances and weird like things came up, like fantasies and stuff. And I was just like, what? Like I had that within me, but most guys, they aren't even willing to face that or do that inner work, right? They're just like, oh, I'm gonna just suppress it. Just stick it to the back of my subconscious over there, buddy. Okay. Just put it into one little cubicle somewhere in the astral where I can't find it. Right. That's most men. The stoic mentality becomes a suppressive tactic rather than a warrior. Humility, right? Getting back into that integration, mind, body, spirit, you know, mind, heart, gut, balls, ovaries, right? It's like we need all of it to be buzzing and working for us at the right times, at the right moments. It's all kind of like a pivoting and moving of this yin yang that we get things done. Like, for instance, in your ethology, I would never come into your workplace where you're the boss and be like, you have to do it like XYZ, right? So it's like, you'd be like, dude, I'm young in this environment, right? So that's one example where it doesn't have to be exactly the male and female dynamic, but it's also like the environment, right? Like Hawaii is very yin. That's why men go there to celebrate or like to let go of stress, right? Because the feminine rejuvenates the masculine as well. So it's kind of like it's a support network. That's the way I think about it. I don't get along with guys that are too masculine. Oh, what do you mean by too masculine? Like aggressive? Like what is too masculine? Do you mean like macho masculinity, like showmanship masculinity, rather than embodied presence, because that I can understand. I honestly think the key is emotional intelligence for both genders. You know, emotional intelligence is such an important trait. Okay, a bit misogynistic. I don't get along with guys that are, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of sad to see that because they're stuck in their own paradigms, right? In their own ways. A limited scope of the world, right? Where it becomes a limited experience. Like he cannot access that other dimension over there, right? That guy. So it's interesting. Super interesting. Any other questions? This is awesome. I thank you for the interactivity. This is cool. But yeah, this is the divine masculine frequency behind me. This is the start of all my videos, if you notice it. It's Uncle Makara, so he's a gatekeeper in Hinduism and Buddhism. He guards the temples and the sacred teachings, right? And basically, this energy of the Makara is like the download I got, and this is how I got initiated into this path, is that the divine masculine is grounded as the bottom of the ocean. Okay. Which means that he can remain centered even when the world is in chaos around him. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. So Bariko says he feels like a gay friend or the woman he attracts or married women just wanted to be friends. Oh, I see. Yeah, so he's got to work more on his yang polarity, right? Just remaining. How present is he? Does he do any meditation, Bariko? And what's his age range around? So I know how to guide him properly. Okay. That's horrible though, as a guy to feel like the gay best friend. What the? Yes. Bottom of the ocean like the abyss. Totally, totally. That's the divine masculine. That's the centeredness. It's the eternity, right? So the planet can change and the weathers and seasons can change, but the masculine isn't going to change. It's just there. Boom, right? And that's why you want to test him as a guy too. You want to scratch his pillar to see if it, you leave any dents or marks. But what if you try and your tools break? You'll be like, oh shit, this guy's different, right? You can remain in light consciousness, in masculine yang, solar conscious, orgone booming, like the buzz of the universe, right? The primordial buzz of that. Exactly. The abyss is silent. So, yeah, men who are trying to be louder or trying to interrupt or overpower others with their voice, it's probably just an insecurity thing. They can fix it easily. But it's also about having the awareness. Like if I wasn't at this state of consciousness, I wouldn't give a fuck about any of this stuff, right? So I totally get it. Like some guys are listening to this and it's not entering or it's not resonating perhaps. But just ask from a different angle and then you might get it, bro. Okay? Or think about it from a different perspective. Like if you were to feel that way, what would you feel, right? Give yourself a possibility, a chance. Okay? He doesn't know what to believe in. He's got to believe in himself. Okay? Because the world will tell him what to believe in. Okay, they'll tell him to follow red pill, dating channels. They'll tell him to, oh, just make money. Just do what Gary Vee said in this book. They'll tell him, oh, why don't you start an online course? That'll be a good side hustle, and then you can get the babes. Okay. They'll keep procrastinating him and putting him through all of these different loopholes and circles. And so he needs to be the man who just decides he knows who he likes, the kind of women that he wants to be around, right? And he's got to get clear on that archetype, and he has to play the counter opposite to that archetype. So if he wants a queen, he's got to be a king. Okay, it makes sense like that. Okay, so if he wants a princess, he's got to be a prince. He can't just be a peasant trying to appease the princess. That's a weird dynamic, right? You tried to read books, and I told him to start watching your channel. Yeah, definitely get him on here. Okay, is he 18 and older? Awesome, man. Ryan G always finds these little manga like Ryan G just finds the best like pieces of manga. Wait, let me show you guys this. It's funny. Um, close this. Okay, check this out. Okay. It says one born of hard work. In that sense, he might be a prodigy, yes. Okay. That's so funny. Okay, anyway, back to the topic at hand. So, yeah, don't let him get too involved in just watching videos and reading books that he doesn't take action, right? That's one thing that I would definitely recommend. He needs mat time talking to women. That's it. That's it. Start from that, right? Get more mat time. Get more. I mean, well, mat time is a martial arts term, but more so, you just got to go out there, and start communicating yourself what your truth is, right? Within your heart. You got to sometimes try it out and see what comes up. You'll never know if you don't try. Will you ever know that this is going to be a successful interaction? You can't know that. Maybe have a probability of going out many years, but you still don't know that, right? Nobody knows that. It's the unknown. That's what makes it fun. It's an adventure. Okay. Getting to know somebody else and being vulnerable yourself. So you start to open up and then you guys start to connect on some level. Okay. It's a test. It's a huge test from the universe, that relationships. It teaches you so much about your own sense of self in the mirror that is being reflected through this other person that you're with. It's wild. It's really wild. And so I think for him, let him understand his brand Shakti. So that means the type of woman that he really likes to be around, he knows that he likes. Not that the media convinced him that he likes, he has to like e-girls or he has to like, only girls with short hair or something. Don't let him get brainwashed into things, but have him be decisive from being in silence and meditation, you know, from the depth of that, because that's going to be the greatest way that you make decisions, is not too much from the rationality and not too much from the emotions. There's got to be a balance of a coherence of mind and heart in his decision making. Okay. That's just my perspective. So, yeah. Okay. He's 34. Okay. Great. So, yeah, great time to start learning this stuff, and applying it and going out, you know, and going out to places where you would normally go out, right? Like, let's say that he reads a lot of books. You go out to like a book cafe or something, right? Or you go to a library, you go to magazine stalls, you go to a book fair, you go, okay. So I'm just giving you ideas because it's like you got to know what you are, who you are, right? And as 34, I'm sure you know who you are, bro, at some level. Okay. If you're still confused around that, I can help you, give you some guidance there. You just got to start with curiosity there. And then basically you got to stack it into your purpose, right? And what stack it into your passion, sorry, which becomes your purpose, because then you're giving back with the passions, right? So start getting passionate about what you do and then sharing it with others too, you know, because that's going to be really, really key. What does he do, if you don't mind sharing? Because there's always a better way to say your occupation, guys. Okay? Like if you're like a server at a restaurant or something, you don't just say, I'm a waiter, right? I give people the best French fries ever. Okay, so something. It's got to be more catchier than what you, say usually. You can have mundane conversations. That's besides the point. Okay, but I think that yeah, it's so important to gain that inner strength, rapport with yourself. Really, self rapport. Oh, that's not a term people talk about a lot, huh? Self rapport. Nice. Okay, so we're the New Earth Warriors. Okay, which means that we have open hearts, clear minds, sharp minds. Okay. And energy centers beaming, booming out like an orgone festival, right? That transcends space time. That's who we are. Okay. So, certainty with ease. The way that they depict alpha males in society, overly loud, obnoxious, like, oh, fuck you, right? That guy doesn't understand brainwave entrainment. Because if he was to study brainwaves, he would understand that alpha waves means a relaxed wakefulness. A man who is alert, he's sharp, he's connected, okay? And at the same time, there's a level of discipline, right? And an ease, an effortlessness, a flow, fluidity, compassionate heart. That's badass. It's badass, okay? He's a janitor. Okay, so he's got hmm, I have to think about that one, okay? Well, it's interesting. He could link it back. Like this, what I would do if I was him, right? I would step into a completely different paradigm with this, right? I'd be like, do you know that the Roman god Janus, the word janitor came from Janus, okay? Because he holds the keys. And so I'm really the one who holds the keys, who protects and carries the keys to whatever institution that he works at, right? And I'm the keeper of the keys. Oh man, that's already way better than janitor, right? So, but anyway, that's just something I naturally do, and that's my gift. So I don't expect him to do that. However, yeah, let him get inspired by different things and different ideas, right? And make sure he creates ambition with the fact that yes, he's a janitor now, but in the future he could be doing something different with the money that he earns from this current job, right? Or something like that. So make sure that he's stacking ambitiously towards some alteration, even if it's a greater position in his field, because that's really going to keep him sane, you know. He's very chill. Awesome. Awesome. I believe it. I believe it. You're chill, so it runs in the family. So, all right, guys. So manifestation is what you know will work. It's not what you think will work. It's not what you feel will work. It's what you know. It's like the claircognizance, right? The clear knowing that it's going to happen. How it's going to happen, you're not sure. Some logistics around it, right? Some plans mentally. But really, it's a deep inner faith, a resilience of faith that will be tested but cannot be moved. It's the firmness of your resolution. It is standing in fortitude, connected to your values. Okay. Your beliefs create your behavior. So if you have limiting beliefs about yourself that I can't do that, that's out of my league, or that's not going to work for me, or that's possibly a little bit too risky, or I'm not willing to travel that far, or, that's a little bit too much. If you start getting tested, you'll slowly start to notice the character coming up, how you respond to challenges. It'll tell you a lot, about your shadows and so forth. So the way that I behave in certain situations, I reflect on them later. And I'm like, that wasn't very called for, or, that was a little bit abrupt, or why am I holding tension in my body that way? And why am I leaning so much to one side or something like this, right? And so these little moments of pivoting happen, but in no way are they criticisms towards myself, right? I'm not being self-critical. I'm being analytically effective. Does that make sense? It's like the type of calculation that you need to do in your mind that's stress-free, right? More ease. So once a lot of people crave variety, others crave certainty. I crave variety, okay? So for me, I cannot be with the same person unless she's like an actress and she shifts roles and like she changes dynamics and changes clothes, and that would be my like archetype, right? In a sense. So the fairy archetype, which is more so like connected to the diva, the maiden archetype as well. But I know my archetype very well. So that's why on my Tinder and dating apps, if I check, they're all that archetype coming up. All the archetype that I want to be with are being manifested. Why? Because I'm consistent with it, every day I'll do it. Every day I'll do it. Okay. Every day before I sleep, I look at my vision board and I embellish it, I embody it. I make it like a little pill. I just zoom it down in my mind. I put it inside of a loading signal, Giphy, right? I do so much stuff to just implant those seeds into my mind. And so that is why I am, what's the word? Omnidirectionally. No, that's not the word. But that's kind of cool. Omnidirectionally. Okay. Um, so the thing about the tender healer is they're very compassionate. They're good guys. They're generally good guys, right? There's nothing wrong with them. But they're missing that edge. They're missing that primal getting tested, right? That feeling of like that awakening happening within you as a man, where you feel at your edge, where you notice that every day is a day to improve, right? That energy, that fire in the belly, as we call it, right? That yang essence that burns within. I think that is so important to cultivate, because sometimes it's a small flame, sometimes it can be a raging fire for a lot of angry men. Okay. So they have to know what to do with that fire element, that passion that really works in their favor. Okay. So, I mean, hey, I love Will Smith. You know what I mean? I stopped respecting him a little bit after the Oscars, but the music he's made is also very incredible recently. And so he's coming back in my mind. However, Jaden, I'm not too sure about him, only because of he seems like he's kind of like, I wouldn't say lost. He's just going very inwards and into a very specific version of him, and it's kind of re-emerging and disintegrating and coming back and reforming. Maybe it has to do with the nepotism idea. Maybe it has to do with just, you know, just being put into a spot or a role, right? Automatically growing up can do things for you. But again, it's so interesting when we look at different cultural icons and then study their energetics, like who's more root chakra dominant, right? Or who's more in their heart space, or who's more, tapped in, wired into their third eye. Tesla's third eye was probably mad open. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. The mystic archetype. Okay. Now, in my course, in my program called Flomo Sapien, I take you through each of the chakras. Okay. It's an expensive program, but it's highly, highly effective and worth it. Okay. 8 weeks, go through all of your chakra points. And at the end, what we do is a character integration. So we find the character that you most resonate with, And then we have you step into that hologram of that self. And then we merge you into that version. So it's almost like an avatar upgrade in the physical and metaphysical world. So it's pretty cool. And you start to feel different energetically, and you start to move different, talk different, you feel more light, more authentic. So that's a byproduct going through that. I have some premium students of mine doing this program right now, and I'm sure they're bound to get incredible results from this because they're already, elevated people in their industry. Okay. And so I truly believe that everybody needs to lean into energy work, right? Even if they don't understand it at first. It's such a powerful shift of your own beingness, your own consciousness, right? And it's going to be so powerful when you know that your high vibration doesn't always need an explanation. Okay. You don't constantly need to justify it to yourself. Hey, soft like water. What's up, bro? Chilling like a deva. I'm not going to say Bollywood villain like Ryan G. Chilling like a deva with 7 different flavors. Okay. That's my version. All right. Any questions around this? Okay. I understand it's a big topic. Okay. I'm going to show you guys the meme I just posted. Okay. So this is, okay. Look at it again. Tender healer, warrior healer. Okay. You even see the difference in the face, right? The facial structure. Right. So one shirt says like stop wars. So it's like a pacifism energy, right? Like peace loving, which is genuine and kind and, you know, wants to give back and cares about humanity and wants to help people, but he's missing that masculine edge of competition, of being challenged, of being, raising his chi, his prana up to his heart space and upper chakras, and just, also feel into his lower body more and just feel like a man, feel like the guy in his own life, that's where it transitions from the tender to the warrior healer. But then there's a third point, a conjuncture where your shadows and light are fighting with each other. Come on, I just want to hug. You guys see that meme, right? Come on. The one we posted. Okay, where's it at? Here we go. Give me a hug, right? Okay. So one is like a priest energy, very holy, very connected, very sacred. One is a beast energy. It's like, let's go. Let's get it done. Let's move. Let's evolve. Let's ascend. It's that energy. It's the let go, the surrender, and the let's go. Action. Let go, surrender, let's go action. Let go, surrender, let's go action. Let go, surrender, let go action. Oh, I said, let's go, surrender. So I flipped it. That's even cooler. So let go, surrender, let's go action. Okay. And then combine both of those polarities. And you're like a flow zoner, okay? Oh my gosh. Your flow state chakras kind of has an issue, bro. Okay? The Kundalini video still gets me fired up. The heat is insane. Nice. Nice. Yeah, sometimes you got to burn that fire with the Tumo heat. You guys know Tumo? Tumo breathing? It's like you push it in and then you put the fire. Try that shit, bro. That'll put you into a different state of consciousness. So, as a biohacker, you got to know what to do with breath, right? In the right moments, if you're feeling too tense, you're feeling too stressed, you slow your breathing down. The slower you're breathing, the more relaxation will emerge. So, right? That would be a breath for calming. But if you want more energy, right? More of a stronger breath, faster breath, right? It just makes sense. It's more of a fire breath and more of a water breath, right? We call it the ocean breath for a reason. We call it the ocean breath and the lion's breath, which is the fire breath technically, because it's also the dragon's breath. Quite literally, right? So breathing out like this, also inhaling. This kind of breathing is really, really good for activation and getting rid of inner muscle armoring, like body armor, right? As Reich says. The type of breathing. I don't know if everybody can do that with their tongue. I know some people who can't, so I don't know what you want to do, but just maybe just sticking your tongue out and breathing like a Kali breath, right? Or Ahegao breath work, okay, or whatever. Okay. So now that we know what the tender healer is and the warrior healer is, how do we merge the two? Okay. An easy answer to that would be just to join our path. Okay, because that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're attaining. That's our main kind of overarching concept of this thing and this path working. So we're already there. Okay. If you're struggling with this, we're steps ahead, then maybe you can learn from. Okay. It's a very unique path. It's not like some kind of other mystical orders and like we have our own set of values, ethics, philosophies, okay, that stem from Bruce Lee and a lot of different factors, right? Of what we've observed, sometimes even Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay. By the way, guys, I'm purposefully sweating to do a detox today. So yeah, that's just a part of it. And the tender healer, what is he missing? He's missing that fuel, that maybe that high yang energy, that testosterone, right? Now, the person who's just highly in that energy and they're not connected to spirit, bro, that guy's gonna burn out. Okay. That guy's gonna burn out fast. And so, as a man, let me remind you that you need to rest your body, your mind, and your spirit. Okay. If you haven't done Quantum K, just type in Quantum K audio on YouTube and go through it once. It doesn't have to make sense. We're looking at how effective it is, and it's pretty effective. And creating a blank slate again, so you can make spiritual progress. So who knows? You might have gone to a trip and picked up an implant of something or some kind of an energetic download from there, which is still unintegrated and processed, right? There could be so many different things. There could be astral parasites in your environment. There could be, different things siphoning your chi. So we can't live in the fear of that, right? We just have to remain in this positive upliftment, right? To remain in that energy and the dominant vibration of what we truly prefer, right? And not let life move us in different ways. It's like whenever we go towards our greatest journey ever, man, you will be tested heavily by the universe, okay? Do you really want that? Do you really embody that? Do you really say what you mean? Is that really what's going on? Okay. The universe will give you this. And immediately you've got to know what to do with this energy because ultimately it's there to teach you something. It's there to be your guidance, your guru for that moment. So just allow your communion with all of your guides. Make sure that you start an altar if you haven't already, just a small space, okay, in your room. If you want to have it be a wealth altar, face it north and so forth. But generally just start an altar, okay? And once you start, you can put all of the different guides and different energies that you want to work with in that altar, right? And keep them a little bit separate. If you're mixing pantheons too much, it might be problematic, okay? So don't have like a demon and an angel next to each other, okay? That's just silly as a mage, okay? Figure something out for that, okay? Or figure out a bridge, a way to integrate them, a neutral being that can help them to connect with each other. Okay, so you want to find the right bridges. So let's say one is a Yoruba pantheon, one is a Hindu pantheon. You got to find the bridge that connects both of those, right? And maybe you have that as a sigil in between them that protects that frequency with each other. You guys see, it's very simple. But if you can look at it and classify it, like if you were to play an occult game, right? Right? If you were to play a video game, right? Occult video game or whatever. How would you design the altar, the space? Okay. Okay. And so you have like a porba, the Vajra dagger, or whatever. You have like a little another ritual object. I have like a golden rose that's fake. I have this thing made in Bali out of woodwork that says Primal Sutra. I have a picture of Padmasambhava. I have Shiva. I have Makara there, which is like a Mosasaurus, just like a toy. I have some Funko Pop there. I have Buddha there. I have my lineage guru there. Um, you know, Kelsang Gyatso Rinpoche, and the Kadampa lineage, and I have Jesus. I had Jesus over there, and I have um, Dorje Shubdan. He's a also Vajrayana being who protects the Dharma. And who else? I do have another Aztec energy over there. And let me see. I have a Kerbo's energy with the butterfly. Yep. BBA's White Rose. This is Kamadeva's and Sanat Kumara Vaiwamus, the peacock feather, as well as Krishna. And it also reminds me of the meditation technique from the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, which is the peacock feather is the five. Oh, you can't, guys can't even see it behind me. Okay. Hold on, I just noticed that. Let me turn this off for a second just to show you guys, okay? So, right, the peacock feather up there, right? So essentially that peacock feather, what it represents to me is it represents the energy of Sanat Kumara, of Krishna, but it's also the five senses. You guys get that? The five colors of the peacock feather are the five senses. So that's like a really powerful dynamic, okay? If we really get that, that's like different. Shall we go with a trippy background? Yeah. Ooh, okay. All right. How to better rest the spirit. Good question. Spiritual locations, salt water, salt soap, any kind of salt. Highly recommended. Third, water. Okay. So this is why you can do your affirmations under the shower and it'll work. It'll put you into an alpha waves, right? So as it just drips over your third eye or your crown, you just sit under it and you say your affirmations in your mind or out loud. Okay, as that's happening, that's the third way. I'll give you two more ways. Okay, let's see what comes up. Better rest the spirits. I would honestly say intuitive stretching, like intuitive yoga. Getting into different asanas and postures that you know your body needs. Don't Google it. Don't look it up on the internet, how to do yoga. Don't. I'm saying sit with yourself, stretch your body, and it will know what it needs to do. Okay, it will show you the guided system. Spirit will guide you to clear something keeping you heavier, something feels like a resistance or stuckness or just an energy density somewhere in your body, right? You just clear it out with the yoga. And then finally, I would say shaking and dance is a very good rest for the spirit because it's rejuvenating, right? Because you're letting go of the gunk or the residue through shaking it out. but also dancing is like you're attuning to a different vibration of music. So if you're dancing to a very high vibrational song, you're also embodying that high vibrational song. Does that make sense? All right. Give me a thumbs up in this video, guys. Come on now. We have like 8 people watching. No likes. What's going on? Or maybe I'm not seeing them. I don't know. Anyway, by the way, I'm not crying like a tender healer. Okay. This is sweat. This is good old sweat. Okay. All right. Is there a way to ask a question and get an answer from the universe? Do you use tarot to do that? Oh, I use oracle cards. Okay. New Orthology. Oracle cards are the best option for that. So they look something like this. This is an example. Okay. This is charity. Okay. I'll give you another example of another design of a deck that I use. Hold on. More like this style, right? Kyle Gray is a good card maker. Yeah. So oracle cards are the way to go for that. Yep. And I don't like to use tarot too much. The arcana is mixed in with both light and dark magic. And it's actually based on the person who uses it, honestly, but I'm not I'm not like against it, you know what I mean? Using tarot. But I like oracle cards better because I connect directly to the divine masters or the ascended masters or light masters that I need to, right? So some kind of a light master deck, ascended master deck, okay? Would be good. Would be good. And just ask question. Ask questions to God to source, find the format of a prayer. You can ask ChatGPT, give me a format of a prayer, come up with your own prayer for the divine. Okay. What are some other ways? I'm just giving you the quick and effective options, right? Ways to do this. Another way would be to just put palms out like this. Just close your eyes and you ask God. God, what's true about me that you know? Okay, if you received an answer, an answer, then it's probably you're synced in to some kind of a higher self, God chakra energy, right? And after this process, now you just have to enhance that connection. So you have to get clearer. You kind of, it's like this putting palms out is like antennas. Also, this different mudras do this as well. Okay. Like, I like the Ganesha one. I like the Naga one. There's many that I really love to use just to tap into different energies or different frequencies. And yeah, yeah, very powerful stuff. Also, you can like have a catchphrase or a mantra and just like count the beats, right? 108 is a very, very powerful number. Okay. So just start here, right? And close your eyes, feel it, say it, say it, say it. It's about the texture, actually, like the texture of counting it. There's something to that that makes your mind almost go into a robotic trance, right? That's the reason why we do this. It's like a self-soothing almost, a way around it. And then it's kind of hardwired it, right, into the system. So you could be like, that was then, now is now. 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 That was then, now is now, right? You could do something like that too, like just a catchphrase, right? Doesn't have to be like, Vidmaye Namaha, and it goes on for like hours and hours and hours. No. You want something swift, simple. A beach mantra is always good. This is what we use, the path. But guess what? We're peak performance shamans, okay? Or a different path. Beach mantra is very simple. Just look up the deity, Hindu deity. Maybe even look up your zodiac sign, okay? The planet it's associated with. Then look up the Hindu deity associated with that planet. right? And then what was I going to say with this? You find a code with that specific planet and what it means, right? So yeah, you're very welcome, New Orthology. Thank you for being so receptive and open to these teachings. And I think that, oh, I'm seeing a spider, guys. We've sped up the timeline once again. Uh-oh. Here we go. Actually, me and Ryan G did it last night because we booked the hotel for New Zealand. Okay. We did it, guys. So we are doing the event somehow, some way. We're gonna manifest it. We don't know how. But here we go. Okay. And that's what it takes. That's really what it takes. It's pure, authentic trust, you know? If that doesn't come along, something better will. Okay. And that's the mindset. The best is yet to come. Okay. So let's look forward to this new reality that we're co-creating together. And let's step into this golden light body, whatever that means. Okay. I'm getting these downloads of like a gold body, right? Like a gold body suit, like shining golden aura type of thing, like a very majestic, divine type of energy that's coming through right now. Okay. We found it a lot with the Abundance August, like the Mansa Musa downloads then, and then, the gold from the Egyptian pantheon, and then, of course, the gold from the Hindu pantheon, and then, of course, the gold from, we are gold beings who are being mined by the Anunnaki, according to some, okay? And, I also bought monoatomic gold the other day to get rid of the black goo, the nanotech stuff, right? So getting what was the ormium? No. It was called something like that, Ormol or some kind of a drink. Not a drink. It's like monoatomic gold. Okay, that's what it's called. So it's good for detox. It's got good for a lot of things actually. But that I've been using red light therapy very effectively for my body. It gives me more chi, more vajra, more prana. It's raised my testosterone. It's done a lot of benefits for me. So that is a good one. Get one of those lamps. Okay. One of these. I've had to change 3 of these by now. This is the 3rd one, right? That's how long I've been using it. Okay. And anything else? Yeah, to merge these two, you just have to practice, right? First, you're going to go through this phase where you're completely tender healer. Then you're going to go to another phase where you're completely warrior healer. You're trying to override it. And then you reach a healthy middle where you understand how to merge the light work. You're a light master and a shadow dancer at the same time. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang, may we never be the same again. I hope you all have an incredible rest of your day, wherever it is you're tuning in from. Shout out to you. I'm chiming in from Kolkata, India. Okay, all the way from India. So let's get it. Much love. Okay, Vasudeva Kutumbakum, which means one world, one family. Let's go. Upward Spiral Gang. And we never be the same again. And let's rise. Let's ascend. Let's go to the next rungs of this ladder. This is almost the end of Social September. So get those social reps in. Talk to the people that you normally wouldn't. Okay, go up to those people, just even if it's a hi, a hello, some kind of a nuance of a gesture that you make. It does not matter. You are at least expressing yourself to the greatest of your capacity. That's what I want for you. Feel into that freedom and rid yourself and shake that hesitation, shake that resistance off, because that is not you. That fear is not yours. Okay, Algeria, I love Algerians. Okay, you guys are awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. May we never be the same again.